Hey, Missy and Brian, Chris here. I'm just taking a look at the market stuff. I just got off the phone call with my buddy who's got another listing in that property and is also highly dialed into some other stuff. So he does a lot of bank work and asset manager stuff where they're moving assets around. So he currently has 35 listings. So it was good to talk to him because he gave me a pretty good market update from what he's seeing and what he thinks is coming down the pipe in the next, say, 6 to 9 months. Um, and I'll go through a summary of what he gave me here during the video and also show you what we're seeing in Larson Ranch so you guys have a better understanding of what's going on so you can talk about it and see if you want to make any additional changes. So with that, let me share my screen like usual. All right. So this is the same report you guys were seeing last week. This is the current activity in Larson Ranch. If I pull up the map here, just so you can kind of see the activity there. You can kind of see, oops, where the houses are residing. Um, yours being right here. We got some ones out here in the new area and some of these other ones. And of course, all the new builds that are out here are definitely affecting our market a little bit here. But you can see there's quite a few of actives that are in the neighborhood. And then this results screen kind of shows you that in a tabular form again. And it's sorted based on square foot, or should be. Let's see, we do by finished square foot here real quick. That makes it better for us. All right, so your house is right here. All right, so you can kind of figure out where it is in the finished square foot. So this one's smaller than yours, has less finished square foot, where yours has more. You can see the lot square foot. Lot here, all the lot square foot's about the same, so it doesn't make any difference in price whatsoever. And you can see the days on market as well, right? So right now we're sitting at 66. The ones above us are less. We've got one down here at 97, 98 at the other end of the market. Well, that one 98 is closed. So um, these little arrows kind of indicate they've done a price drop, right? So where they're at now, see if I can slide this over a little bit more. It's kind of hard to see it. See if I can squish some of these down so we can get it all on the same screen here. Whoop. Let me just do that. All right. That'll help a little bit. Okay. So the little arrows here, you can kind of see that's a price drop, price drop, price drop, price drop. There's been some holes on them. One of them ours. All these ones are just sitting still. Um, But when I look at this and try to get an understanding of what's going on, the gentleman, the other listing I talked to right here is Declaration Drive. And just to give you an idea, oop, that was your property. Wrong button. But I was like, use my finger instead of the mouse. All right, you can kind of see it. It's a similar house. It's different, but similar to as far as the layout and everything goes. This one will have brand new carpet, brand new paint throughout, because I know what my buddy does to all his houses. He works with banks a lot, so this is a bank-owned property, and they're selling it. So the bank mandates new paint, new carpet, in all their houses. So um, know that. But you can kind of see similar, the floor paddings are a little bit different. I like yours better. It's got more hardwood in it, right, throughout. I think yours has a better floor plan with this section over here. It probably has a better elevation, or better floor plan. You can see outside, you don't have the patio, smaller backyard, grass in similar condition to yours. Fully finished basement. All right, similar closet, stuff like that. I'm flipping through this a little bit fast. I think I've gone through this before with you guys, but it's always good to refresh your memory, right? So we reset the baseline what we know when we're talking here. All right. And here in a second, we should drop down to the basement, which you're going to see it looks very similar to yours. Yep. Back upstairs there for a second. Back downstairs. Okay. So you can see this one's pretty good shape, very similar to yours. It's currently at 497.5. It's been on the market for 42 days. One of the things that he told me about that I had no idea about, he has a different report than I've ever seen, never even heard of it, that allows you to see the showing time, the showing requests. So I've reached out to Showing Time, the provider that I use to get that report, but he didn't pull it for me. I don't have a copy to send it to you, but I can get that maybe if I need to, if I don't have it access to that by the time you ask me for it. But he said that when you look at Larson Ranch and you look at showing times and then where the showings are at, you're going to see a bell curve, right? You're going to see there's going to be a price point at which a lot of the showings exist. And in Larson Ranchers, you're going to have a pretty broad 3 to 700,000 potentially. But he said when he looked at the report a minute ago, 67% of the showings are from 400 to 500,000, being 499,999, right? Above that price point, which is where we are, 6.7% of the showings. So the showings do drop off dramatically above 500,000. That said, he has had 3 showings in his 42 days. So very similar to ours, probably the same showings that we're getting. And that house has an issue with the roof, so it's not going to sell for 497. It's going to have to go lower than that because it needs a whole new roof. So with that, it kind of gives us some insight as to maybe we'd want to lower the price, maybe, and I'll get into that some more here in a bit. But let's go back to the chart now that we've looked at that one. I kind of brought you up to speed on that specific house. My buddy Patrick did say that of his 35 other listings, it's quiet. It is crickets out there. Everything is sitting. Very little showings in anything. But he also mentioned some stuff that he thinks is coming potentially after the first of the year. More likely middle of next year. And that is, he deals a lot with banks and other companies like that, right? So he is seeing an uptick in requests from companies like this they want brokers to come in, agents to come in and represent them when they go to sell off assets, meaning foreclosures, or it could be other, directly owned assets. A lot of the stuff he has right now are not foreclosures. There are other bank-owned assets that they're getting rid of them. So that is a bit of a tilt towards the fact that these entities are thinking that they're going to need to sell a bunch more assets. And here's the problem with that. We can't sell the houses that are on the market right now. They're just sitting, yours included. We don't want to be around whenever that happens. And best guess is middle of next year, second to third quarter, that we might see a whole bunch of houses start hitting the market from some of these entities. So we need to think about that. We need to keep that in our view site to make sure that we're not there in the market when this happens. So with that, if I look at the data here again, we've got some price drops. Nothing's really moving again, nothing's pending. So we're not seeing that. We've seen a few price drops. I'm kind of seeing here, my buddy Patrick's place is at what was it, 497. We're still at 515. We've got ones here. What's this one? 580. Why is that one? That one's crazy. Oh, it's under construction. Still a new build. That's why. So we see here under construction. Go back to existing. We dropped down to 495. We got one here at 619. It's been on the market for 30 days. They're never going to sell that one. I don't know why that would be listed that high. Another one under construction, and then this existing one at 459. So my recommendation would be for you to think about how long you want to carry this property and make payments on it. Or do you want to try to get ahead of it, get ahead of the market a little bit, be aggressive on the price and move it? And what I mean by that is be probably under that $500,000 price point with this price drop plus the seller concession. We're starting to get very aggressive. And these are very big numbers that have a big impact on whatever you're intending to do with the money that you have in this house. So we also don't want to sit there so long that we watch all of that money vaporize, right? As we don't want to follow the market down. So you need to think a little bit about how aggressive you guys want to be, how long you might want to carry it. Um, do you want to carry it into the first of the year when the market tends to pick back up again? Um, and maybe not do any price drops between now and then, see what the market does, see what happens after the president's election here in a couple days, see if there's any more interest rate drops. It's all up to you guys and how long you want to make the payments on it, right? I can't make that decision for you. All I can do is just try to give you some better information to make better decisions with. The market does tend to pick up after the first of the year a little bit. Usually late January is when we start seeing more of it. So don't expect it to go from where we're at now to suddenly there's 40 showings in a day and everyone's paying 40 grand over, because that's probably not going to happen. It just starts to ramp up slowly. I think I showed that to you last time in this report when I come down here, median days on market, and we look at these little diamonds that represent the same time of year. So this goes November, December, January, even into February before the days on market started going down, meaning the market's picking up, right? We're getting a lot more buyers. Houses are moving a lot faster. And you can kind of see the same thing here. You see, I was saying like even late January, right? Before you really start seeing it cam over. So do you want to carry that property into February, late February in that case, late February in this case, January in that one, and this is COVID, so we can't really look at that. But we can expect the days on market to continue for a bit, and that is just going to put a downward pressure um, on your price, right? So if you do a price drop, price drop, price drop, price drop, where are you at? Or does it make more sense to do a bigger price drop now, try to get somebody to buy it, so that you don't have to do more and more and more, right? Or do we want to pull it from the market for a while, get through the new year, and then relist it? But again, there's some indication that second and third quarter next year, we're going to start potentially seeing a lot more assets, corporate-owned assets being sold. So we definitely don't want to be in the market maybe over here. So, if I come over here and I change this to median list price, let's see that for a moment. And look at the diamonds again. So this is what the median list price does between now and February. So that's 510, 530. It's a $20,000 price drop effectively in that during that year. 509. So that was 10,000 that year. This one was nothing because the market started going back up. This is kind of post-COVID though. So, you can see here there's just about every year, in order to keep selling from here, this point forward, the market just continues to drop. The prices continue to drop to get people to buy it. And it peaks during May, June, July, right? You can see here, June, 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 May, June, right? So, um, it just depends on where you guys want to be. Do you want to do a big price drop to try to get down here? And even if we get down there, it doesn't mean that the buyer's going to come along and buy it. It means it's more likely that we might see some activity like that. But I get it, 20 grand, it might be 10 months worth of home payments, right? So is it worth floating, waiting? This is the dilemmas that I have when I'm selling a flip house. Do I want to continue to pay this for a period of time, or do I want to hold it, right? And do I want to hold it, or do I want to do a price drop? Because 20 grand is a lot of money. It's a lot of payments. And you might be able to hold it for 10 grand and get you into this time period, get in here where the market starts turning over, versus doing a $15,000 price drop or $20,000 price drop now and trying to sell it. Um, it all kind of depends. I mean, you could also talk to if you have a CPA, you might talk to them. I think, Missy, you're kind of dialed into that, but you might think about, is there any advantages to making sure the house sells this year versus next year, just to clean up the taxes. Maybe even just clean up the taxes between you and Brian, so that's the house is separate, is gone before next year's taxes, so you don't have to worry about that. These are all things that you guys need to ponder and kind of, kick back and forth and try to figure out what makes sense. If we look at the data for 80925, which is what I have configured here, I believe is want to double check that. That's what I have queued in. Pretty sure as I put in there. 80925. 99% sure that's what I have. I just don't see it. Normally it has it right there like that. So, if we look at the current data that's coming out, median list price of homes is continuing to, the ones that are listed are continuing to push the price up, which is kind of crazy because what we're seeing. Median list price is staying pretty stable. Price per square foot is staying pretty stable. Average days on market is fairly stable. Median days on market starting to come down, meaning houses are selling maybe a little bit faster. Price decreases is starting to come down. So when I look at all that stuff, all that tells to me is we shouldn't do a price drop. Looks like we're having some activity that's favorable towards holding the price. Um, but who's to tell? Inventory kind of jumped there, 20 units. And that was in a week. What was that, 30 units? That's 30 units in a week, and now it's kind of flatlining. So more units on the market is more competition. Um, that's not favorable. That's not a favorable change, but everything else seems to be. Market action index there is going down, which we would expect it to be. And that's just this little chart up here that tries to show you buyer seller's market, where we're at, right? In COVID land, this gauge would be pinned out at 100. Right here means that there's a lot of buyer and seller negotiations, with price, terms, everything is in play. Where when you're back over here, it's much more in the seller's favor. The seller can be a bigger jerk and give up less. But the houses that are moving are going to be a lot more negotiation going on. So, with that, um, oops, I'm going to stop sharing there. So, with that, hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight as to what's going on. And you and Brian can talk about the strategy that you want to use going forward. If you want to be aggressive on price now, if you want to wait, I'm good with either. It's not my job to make that decision. That's yours. So, if you have any thoughts, based on what you saw or what you're hearing from other people or friends or family, whatever, and you have some questions, give me a call, shoot me an email about it. Let's talk through it and see. It's a team. This is teamwork here, because we need all of it together to make the best decisions for you guys. So, yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Let me know what you think and talk to you later. Bye.